Mabuhay!
Hi! Welcome to
The Babaylan Bruha Book Club podcast.
It's Your Village Kapwatids, Steph.
And Aini, and here we are together again. And as always, in efforts to decolonize our minds, bodies, and reconnect with spirit by ways of relation via conversation, of education, interpretation, and integration.
So, this is our invitation for you to join us on our journeys as we discuss the works of honored artists, authors, and thought leaders in the Filipinx diaspora.
Quick disclaimer, we want to acknowledge that in this moment, everyone is exactly where they need to be.
And since we are not experts, yet we share our own unique lived experiences, we invite you to take or toss any statements, opinions, words that we may use as you choose.
We are so glad you found your way here. So, as always, before we begin, we want to take a moment to ground. So, taking a pause to drop into your body and become fully present in this space. If it is safe for you, if you aren't driving, we invite you to close your eyes, straighten your spine. I invite you to feel wherever your body meets the earth or the ground, and I want you to feel fully supported. And in this space, I invite you to take some deep breaths in through your nose, hold at the top, and then exhale slowly and fully. A couple more times, breathing in and extending your belly out. And as you exhale, bringing your belly in. And connect to your body and into this moment. Don't worry about tomorrow or what comes after this, but be fully present in this moment. And as we begin our conversation, we'd like to thank God, Bathala, Creator, for another gathering. In gratitude, we acknowledge our benevolent ancestors and our guides and invite all these forces to support and guide our conversation today. I want to thank the ancestors of the land Stephanie and I currently occupy, knowing we cannot do our own remembrance work without remembering them. For me, that is the mound builders that are the Hopewell and Adena people in Ohio. For Stephanie, that is the Bay, Miwok, Yokut people in the Inland Bay area of California. And with gratitude, we also acknowledge your presence, Kaputid, your energy and your light, no matter wherever and whenever you're tuning in.
Thank you, sis.
You're welcome.
Very
Thank
calming.
you.
I needed that. Lord. Batala knows. But yes, all right. Brujas, welcome back. Brujas, Brujos, Bruhex. I made a new thing. As you know, we head into Bruha check. So I'm setting up my timer and Sissy will go first today.
Yes.
You got your Bruha check in mind. Just a reminder, Bruha check, the things that we do, Bruha Tings. And ready?
Yeah.
And go.
Okay, so Bruha Tings. So recently it was the new moon. When was that? Was that last week? I forget. Yeah, it was it was last week.
Oh.
I'm a good Bruha. I know when the moon was. Don't worry, everybody. Don't take my Bruha card away.
We're not.
One of the things that I did that I haven't done intentionally on a new moon is clean my porch. What? I have a little porch. I swept it. I took a brush and I cleaned it with some essential oils. I put a little money thing, a little bowl with salt and nails and puts protective things under my mat. I wiped my floor down. I stood in my doorway and I blew cinnamon in for abundance. And let me tell you, I energetically, my house has been feeling different ever since. It feels
Okay.
clearer, because that your porch is where people come in, you know? So all that
Yeah.
stuff coming in. And so just to cleanse it I put salt along I'm telling all my things. I put salt along my doorway for protection, and it just feels good in here now. It feels I'm like, I should do that every new moon. Why haven't I been doing that? So that's my Bruha Tings that I've been doing.
Yes, I love that. Cinnamon, I think you're my second confirmation to do that, because I had a teacher did it yesterday because it's the new month. So I think I'm gonna do that every Sunday.
Yeah.
I while listening to my porch yesterday too, and I was like, this is so clearing.
Yeah. And so the thing is, I never really connected to the sweeping of the porch thing until I got a walis. I got me a walis. And I was
Okay.
like out there, like in the suburbs in Ohio with my walis, like,
Girl, yep. I need to go buy a new one. You're actually inspiring me to go buy a new one.
It feels so good. I'm like, it feels intentional. It feels like somehow right. Like
Yes,
a regular. I'm not just it took it from like, oh, I'm cleaning the porch to like, I'm intentionally doing something bruja.
Yes.
That's how it felt. So
energetically, it's so true. Like, it's so true. One of my energy teacher says that sweeping is literally how you.
yeah, and that's what I've always heard as well. But I'm like, I don't
You
know.
embodied it.
Yeah, to embody it with like something cultural, something ancestral. It just felt good. It felt good.
We still have my grandma's walis. It's like hanging on its last few threads. So that's partially why maybe I should buy a new one to like not debilitate.
Buy a new one. Yeah, buy a new one. And then also I keep a what is it? I keep the walis on the porch. I don't know, that feels right.
Maybe that's why they call us brujas, because we ride our clearance sticks.
Yeah.
Our brooms are our wands. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit.
Okay, that's my bruja. I went over time, but okay.
No, I went in a tangent with you. Sorry.
No, it's no sorries. It's good. Okay, you ready? You got your bruja ting?
Shit. Okay. Yes.
Okay. And go.
A bruja ting that happened to me. I actually went to go see a healer last weekend, and she adjusted my lady parts, y'all's. I got a uterus massage. And a bruja moment / energy. She pressed on, I had a knot. For anybody still listening, like, your uterus is a muscle and it does get knotty. So just like when you get shoulder knots, like, but y'all's, I felt that energy move up my chakras into my heart, and I was able to alchemize it. Yeah, I cried for like at least 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. It was a whole ass like ceremony, like low key. And yeah, so I had a weekend last weekend, and that was able for me to like integrate what happened, think about it. I'm still kind of marinating in it, but that was a bruja thing about like connecting back to my womb, which is my creation center.
Yeah.
And her and I are building our connection in deeper ways that I could have ever imagined now. So shout out to that healer, and like being able to move that. So womb health.
Yes. Your yoniverse.
Yep. I was in my little yoniverse last weekend.
Yeah, I love that, sis. You're doing so much work. You're doing so much work. Good job.
Thank
I
you.
see you.
Thank you,
And
sis.
so, yeah, to you, Babaylan Brujas out there, we encourage you to also not just like have an intellectual space where you think about your Bruha Tings, but actually bring it into fruition with the tools that you have, with brooms, with womb healers. Like get it,
Yes.
just get into it because
Plant
there's
allies. Yes. And
mm-hmm.
then even just a pen and paper. Like that's the one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get into your Bruha Tings. So that is that. Are you
Love
complete,
that.
Sissy?
I am. Thank you. All right. Brown Girl Cliff Notes time. So chapter 4, here we are. This chapter was interesting, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't my favorite. Sorry, you're not gonna like everything, and that's okay. I want to normalize that for people.
Yeah.
And as always, it's informative. What I can say is that I appreciate it. It was another lens to look at, and because it's really about the breakdown of the connection of the Philippines with China, not Spain, not Spain now. Talking about China.
Yeah.
So dating as far back as the 9th century, which I had to look it up. I was like, what's the 9th century? January 1st, 801 AD to December 31st, 900 AD. That equates to about 1,000 years of exchange both countries have experienced. In fact, the oldest Chinatown, fun fact, is in the Philippines. China would trade things like porcelain, gold, iron cases for perfumes, lead, colored glass beads, and iron needles to exchange for yellow wax, cotton, pearls, shells, and medicinal betel nuts, and jute textiles that were products of the islands. It is said that the Filipinos actually visited China before China came to the Philippines, initially mostly for trade through bartering, which eventually created an economic trade route that made the Philippines consider China a long exchanging, global, and economically super powerful neighbor. Throughout the Judas research, referencing several Chinese authorities turned historians such as Chao Juhua, his work on the Chinese and Arab trade in the 12th and 13th centuries, entitled Chu Fan Chi. This chapter allowed us to witness a piece of Philippines history about tribute missions, flag origins, slave trading women, specifically,
Yeah, we'll
and
get into
Chinese,
that. Yeah.
right, we will, and Chinese dynasty stories captured through a non-Spanish lens, as I mentioned earlier, which can be quite refreshing for the time being.
Yeah, I thought that was the Chinese lens versus the Spanish lens, right? So I don't know. That's interesting. And they didn't, it was like through the eyes of trade and
Yes,
commerce versus colonization and conquering.
spirituality, yeah, religion.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But thank you, sis. That was a very good job with the summary.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the summary. But yeah, let's just get into it. Let's
Okay.
get into it. So, all right. So let's get into conversation. As always, we do 2 vocabulary words that kind of hit us, and then we'll get into 2 quotes today. Oh, before we start, so why wasn't this your favorite chapter?
Uh, Again, much respect to Ate Judy. It just there were some parts that jumped a little bit. I don't know if it was just late night, and I was like, honestly, y'all, it was hard for me to concentrate. I really wanted to watch Hocus Pocus 2, but I was like, I really gotta,
Bruha
I
Tings.
gotta read and write this thing down before I go off into taking this edible and watching this movie.
Oh yes. Now you're giving me ideas for when I watch Hocus Pocus.
Oh yes, it was
Okay.
amazing.
Okay.
But yeah, I was like, where's she jumping now? Like where are we talking about? So and
Okay.
then she'd insert her opinions, which is great,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I thought it was well, like I said, this book isn't Bruja. This book is not Bruha Tings. It's very historical. I mean, even though she's not a historian. Anyway, so I just wanted to
yeah.
question. So sometimes it was hard to read for just my own personal opinion.
Okay, see? So was it just
my own personal
was it
opinion,
okay?
just because it was like historical, but it was interesting. Some of the stuff was interesting. So
You wouldn't be his history major
no, I
in
don't.
school?
I don't want to be a history major. That's too many receipts. Okay. So let's get
Right.
into vocabulary words.
Okay.
I have 3. They're from pages 68 and 69. They are the words champa, Srivijaya, and the spelling of this is capital MA-I or my. So this is according to the Chinese records. Filipinos went to China before the Chinese went to the Philippines. We talked about that earlier. That came from Philippine historian William Henry Scott in his paper about Filipinos in China before 1500. So an edict in 972 appointed a superintendent of maritime trade for the region we now know as Southeast Asia, including such places as Champa or Vietnam, Srivijaya or Indonesia, and Mai or the Philippines. So I thought this was interesting. So back on page 65 as well, Ati Judy says, I found this story about Chinese merchants trading with Filipinos in Blair and Robertson's compendium, like this other book she was reading. Although Mai is not the present name of any islands in the Philippines today, they are convinced, meaning Blair and Robertson, they are convinced it was an ancient sovereign state located in the archipelago. So maybe it wasn't like all of Philippines was called Mai, but the majority, that's what the Chinese knew us as when they were trading with us. So remember, sis, you were like, I just want to know.
I
I just
did.
want to know.
I did. I was just saying, like, oh, and see, wait,
I
why
want
am
to
I
know
like,
what we were called.
why am I shocked that like this is why we do exchange words? Because it didn't hit me like last night, but it's hitting me like today.
Yeah, Mai.
Wow. So we have kind of uncovered the pre-colonial names of Vietnam, Indonesia, and the Philippines.
Yeah. So
My,
I heard of Srivijaya before, only because when I talk about the history of Kali, of Filipino martial arts, Filipino martial arts has a very big Indonesian flavor in it, especially the styles that come from Mindanao, which is closer to Indonesia. I'm doing, if anyone can't see me, if you're just listening to us on Spotify, I'm trying to do a map. Here's Philippines, here's Southern Philippines, and Indonesia over here.
waiting to come on YouTube and hit subscribe. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, y'all.
So anyway, I just thought that was so interesting because I was like, I read that and I was like, I heard your voice in my head. I was like, I heard your voice going, I just want to know what we were called. And so it might not be the whole ass region, but maybe that's just like,
we're Mayan people then.
we're Mayan.
Mayan.
But
We indigenous. I mean,
why is
damn.
it spelled MA-I? I'm wondering like how you actually pronounce that. I didn't look that up.
Maay?
Maay? Maay. That sounds so Filipino. Maay.
Maay.
My third eye.
My third eye just got activated. Oh, snap, y'all. I'm about to go research Maay. I'm not Filipino. I'm Maayan. That's super woke. Okay, let's see the next.
Oh man, wait, hold on. I want to.
That's like the 670 term now. We ain't Filipino no more, y'all. We Maayan.
We Maayan. We come from the Maayan nation.
Island. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Right now she's researching, y'all. Okay.
Well, I'm trying. I just googled like how to pronounce MA-I, and I don't really find anything. We can look at this later, but I like my, or maybe it's my, I don't know.
What did it say? Does the Google say how to say it?
Let's see how to pronounce my.
Pronunciation.
Please hold, folks.
It's popping up as Arabic, which is weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a Chinese and Arabic route.
Yeah, it's trade.
My.
This white lady on YouTube says it's my. I like, but we switch things up.
We do.
So I feel like my is good.
I'm Ma'ayan, y'all. I knew it. People ask me, you Hawaiian? I'm like, I'm Ma'ayan.
Oh my gosh, that actually feels right. Did we actually find something?
Does it really? Is your DNA, is your cells like screaming? Like,
yeah, it feels right.
Hey, if this becomes like a viral thing, my grandchildren can see from many, many years from now.
Yeah, is that what we're called? Yeah. What did we make
it? All right. And 3,000. It ain't gonna be no more Filipino boxes, and be my irons.
Yeah. What are we in the year 3000? You guys, are we still? Are these? Do these receipts still exist?
Yes, we receipts now because we're historians. Inadvertently, damn it.
Yeah,
it's got me reading this historian book. So we're Mayans.
Yeah, I like that. My
Mayan. Hey. Okay. Mayan American.
So that was my vocab words: Champa, Srivijaya, and Maai.
Thank you. That was exciting. I don't get excited off words. Well, I do, but wow, that's a Bruha moment. Can I just say that? I asked the universe, and the universe is like, all right, I'm gonna throw you the answer next chapter.
Yeah. That's why I heard you. Like I said, I heard your voice in my head. Like, I just want to know what we were called. I was like,
Mayan, y'all. You're Mayans. Okay. We were Mayans. So thanks, Ate Judy. All right. 69 is my word. I actually put tributes down because I was like, what are tributes? And it's actually a trade practice. Trading practice during that time included paying tribute, which was not a tax or direct source of revenue. Tributes in the form of gifts such as pearls or frankincense and myrrh to the Chinese emperor were acknowledgement of his primacy among human rulers. Scott, we're referencing Scott again for his paper. A tribute says tribute mission was the Chinese idea of the fit diplomatic approach from the underdeveloped states and tribes, which were historically her neighbors. The tributary states did not become colonies or part of the imperial administrative system. They were simply enrolled as independent states, now occupying their proper niche in the Chinese cosmic order of things. Interesting. These tribute-bearing envoys then received gifts from the emperor to demonstrate Chinese grandeur and extend her cultural sway.
Sway. I got cultural sway. I don't know.
Yeah, you do. I mean, it's like I feel like that's a humanistic thing. Like, I'm gonna share some cool things with you. You share some cool things with me. Like,
yeah. And then I don't know if you if on page 71 she talks about pasalubong. That
she does. I did. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Thank you. See, this is why we do in this podcast. So 71 tribute appears again. And she says here, reading about these tribute missions made me think about Filipino tradition of bringing back a pasalubong when you come back from a long trip. Salubong means to meet in Filipino. And these gifts were typically souvenirs from your travels. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I guess like it's like a nice reference. I like getting pasalubong, especially when people go.
Yeah. And it's a nice to know that it's a pre-Hispanic practice. Like, that's ours. Pasalubong is
out. People, damn it. Yeah, we're freaking giving people.
Yeah. I mean, you always
hospitable. Shit.
We have to give pasalubong. I went on a trip with my mom and my daughter, and that's one of the things we needed to get. She was like, we have to get pasalubong for when we return. Oh, we went to Jolly. Side note real quick. So I just came back from Texas, Houston, Texas. well, we actually stayed in Galveston, Texas, which is a little beach town. So I went with my mom. So we were gallivanting in Galveston.
Okay, funny.
I went to Jollibee in Houston.
How was
What?
it?
Any Houston people out there? That'd be wild if there were people from Houston listening. It was good. I had chicken joy and also oh God, what is it? Not pancit, but shit, sis, what is the one? What is the noodles and it has the egg and
Oh, palabok?
yes, palabok. I love palabok. That was good. But
Yeah.
listen to this. Listen to this. This is so Filipino mom. My mom bought another bucket of chicken joy. And then she wrapped that shit up
And
and
brought
put
it
it,
back.
yes, in her carry-on.
Yep. That's plain rice smell like chicken.
Yeah. She just like put it through security. Pasalubong for
That's a
my
real
dad.
commitment.
Chicken
Yep.
joy.
Yep. Oh my God, that's such a real commitment. That's such an Asian thing. I don't
That's
know
so
what it is.
Asian.
Just I
That
feel like Asians are just much more daring to bring food. I'm like baked goods. Baked goods is like I've
yeah.
dragged like donuts or cookies across
Yeah.
from like New York to California, but yeah.
That's a Filipino mom thing. So Filipino. And
Because we pack baon. So
yeah.
there's no thing to bring back some fresh different ones you can't get from. I feel
Where
like
we're
that's like
from.
part of like maybe our joy of like going somewhere, bringing
Mm.
back something from that space, and then bringing it home to share.
Yeah, to share, not just so you go and you experience it and you're like, okay, but I want to bring this experience back
Mhm,
to
mhm.
share with the people that I love or who I know will also get joy. Chicken
Yeah,
joy.
yeah.
Is this sponsored by Jollibee? Can we get a sponsor?
See the link below, y'all.
Jollibee sponsor.
Palabok. It is the holidays coming, and yeah, some
Yeah.
Filipino fans would love some palabok.
She also froze the pies, the peach mango pies, and like brought it through security as well.
You froze it?
Yeah.
How?
Well, we in the little freezer at the hotel.
Oh,
So and then she brought it through security. And she's so cute.
my
My
goodness.
mom, she's so funny. One time we okay, just at this, and then this is it. We were traveling to where was it? Hawaii? I forget where we were. And my mom leans across the aisle to me and she's like, Imes, do you want some bacon? I'm like, bacon? Where'd you get bacon? She pulls out this foil. I
Oh,
made bacon before we left. I'm like, oh my God, mom. Yes, I want some bacon. Like the plane was, people were looking like, where was breakfast
yeah,
at?
what is this? Because you can smell bacon. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a smell.
But yeah, it's just
That's
so
so
it's just so
funny.
cute and funny. So
Oh my God, I feel like
anyway,
we have to do a
tangent.
study break about baons, like
Yeah.
whether it be to school, whether it be to um plane rides.
Yeah, you gotta bring baon. Okay, so anyway, that's pasalubong. That is tributes. Are you
Yeah.
complete with that, Sissy?
Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna get into quotes.
Yes.
Ati Steph,
So
you want to go first?
I'll take it away. Sure. So I wanted to talk about this segment of hostages. It's a little bit of like a what kind of tea.
Yeah.
Because they, and like I mentioned the summary earlier, they used to barter, and I'd wonder how currency went. And if you all decide to read the chapter, allegedly, um, the boats would dock and they'd unload their stuff, and then there was also like the mistrust of like natives would come and offload the stuff, and then like these Chinese merchants would be like, wait a minute, like you're gonna like run off of my shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also you got to understand these goods were also disseminated into the provinces, so it would take days for them to come back with the products in exchange. So in, I guess, a way to hold currency, they held hostages, y'all.
I know that's crazy.
Yeah, and so it's interesting. I don't know, my mind was like thinking of all like adjacent stories of like hostages who, because it, okay, I'll go into it.
Yeah.
So during these pre-colonial exchanges of goods, I wondered if everyone always agreed on the value of their goods versus those they were trading with. Chow, with that historian I was talking about earlier, seemed to anticipate readers' questions and wrote, quote, if the prices of goods they may wish to purchase cannot be agreed upon, the chief of the local traders must go in person to come to an understanding, which being reached, the natives are offered presents of silk umbrellas, porcelain, and rattan baskets, but the foreigners still retain on board one or two natives as hostages. After that, they go on shore to traffic, which being ended, they return the hostages. A ship will not remain on anchor longer than 3 or 4 days, after which it proceeds to another place. So it's a little choppy there. I don't know if that was just translation from, again, Chow is a Chinese historian or writer, but it sounds like what we can deduce from this quote is that some goods were not, I guess, equal exchange. And so the chief of the traders, like they come and they meet in person, but then they bring two like people.
Yeah.
I don't know, sacrifice, but it's like you got to stay on board while we negotiate. And your life is part of the currency. And if it's not, if it's reached, then they come back. But if they don't, and it says like 3 or 4 days, then the boat moves on. So it's like the hostages move with them.
Yeah. They can't get. I'm like, who are these hostages? Who are they bringing?
Okay. And then there's Hearth and Rockhill's translation of the hostages. Their version says foreign traders received twice or thrice the value of goods sold aboard to serve them as a bond of security. Afterward, the foreign traders disembark and perform their contracts there and then return to their vessel. The goods pledged by the natives remain only 3 or 4 days aboard the vessel, and then after the expiration of that term, they are restored to shore.
So is it goods or is it people or was it both? Was it just like one time there was like hostages and people are like, well, that's crazy. I'm going to write that down.
Well, I mean, that's what Dr. Judy says. Something was definitely lost in translation between these two. Which version is correct? We can only guess. And I mean, we can't really give humans the benefit of the doubt because slave trade. So it wouldn't surprise me if they ended up giving hostages for goods for the village and then they migrate to the next site. And
yeah,
that's how Filipinos ended up in like Louisiana, or you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
California. I don't know. So
yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
So I would not want to I'd be like, nope, y'all go ahead. I will be here when you come back from the Chinese ships coming in.
I want to know, like, who did they pick? How did they pick? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe there was like John Smith versions in the tribes,
or maybe, or was it just something that was honorary for, like when you go and rent a car and they're like, I'm gonna put a $300 hold on your credit card until you bring the car back, right? Is it one of those things where you always get your $300 back? So was it one of those things where like the hostages, they have a good time, they're just hanging out on the ship, they're actually really well taken care of, but it's just like a thing that needs to happen? Yeah. Yes. So I'm like, it was very interesting to read that.
I need more information.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. The next chapter might start talking about
maybe. We keep asking the universe answers our questions.
I mean, damn, I didn't know it was a Mayan. So
yeah.
Mayan.
Okay. I'm gonna go into my because I feel like it kind of like goes along with. Okay. So my quote is from page 72. And so they're talking again about tributes and about bringing different gifts and stuff. So in this paragraph, Atijuju writes, the envoy Li Kan Xie. I don't know how that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for
HSIEH. Okay.
yes.
Thank
So, presented a memorial engraved on a tablet, cloves, white dragon camphor, tortoise shell, red parrots, and a Kunlun slave. So the envoy was from the Philippines, from Maay, and that was the envoy's name, Li Kan Xie, and presented the Chinese emperor all of these things, including a Kunlun slave. So the record stated the emperor was grieved at the slave being so strange and far from home, and ordered her sent back. And Ati Judy actually has her in italicized. And she says, I was struck by the stark illustration of what Scott had referred to as the economy of trading and raiding in the region. This was a sad glimpse into the lives of pre-colonial women. Was the Kunlun slave given to the emperor captured at a slave raid? I wondered if she was relieved to be sent back or if a worse fate awaited her. So I said, let me go ahead and what is Kunlun? And
Okay, come
so
on.
just
Extra
a
research.
quick Google search. There was actually a romance written by Pei Xing during the Tang Dynasty, and it was called the Kunlun slave or the Negrito slave.
Of course. I was in my mind, I was like racist.
Yeah, so Kunlun slaves meant black slaves from Southeast Asia in the Tang Dynasty, China. The majority of Kunlun slaves were dark-colored people captured in Southeast Asia, and some of them were Africans bought from Arab merchants who captured them in Africa. So colorism has existed forever. And don't we have a Negrito tribe, don't we?
Yeah, it's our eighth cousin.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. I'm like,
being so strange from home and order her sent back.
well, I'm glad that he didn't keep her, the slave. But then, like, Ate Juju was like, I wondered if she was relieved to be sent back or a worse fate awaited her. And then she was like, this is a sad glimpse of the lives of pre-colonial women. And I was like, hold up, pause. I thought, and I don't know. Remember, like we were talking about the Babaylan and how we were an egalitarian system, like we weren't patriarchal. You know what I'm saying? But then, what is this? You know, what is happening here?
Why is it a woman?
Yeah, and so I feel like it challenges what I've already kind of integrated or accepted as how pre-colonial women were in the Philippines, you know, because we're learning about what's her name? Oh shit. Arduha and everything, right? And then is it just colorism? Like what's happening?
Honestly, I think it's just that patriarchal like oppression of women as baby makers. Like and emperors used to use young women to keep them young because of their sexual energy, you know. So that's an educated guess. I could be wrong. But
yeah, the Kunlun slaves were negritos. Like there, so
I was like, huh?
So we were taking our own people and giving them as slaves as tribute.
I mean, we sacrificed heads. There were headhunters in the Philippines.
Yeah.
It's not.
We're still people at the end of the day.
It's easier for us to say this in 2022, but back then I'd be like, I don't want to go on no ship. Like, and also like this emperor wants a freaking, respectfully saying, a light skin, like pearl skin colored woman, and I'm not that. So I'm gonna stay my ass here and weave this basket and live by the beach.
The emperor was grieved at the slave being so strange and far from home, and ordered
that shows that the emperor is fucking racist. Then emperor was fucking racist. Sorry.
Yeah, but then I'm like,
French.
Would it be better if he kept the slave? Like, I don't know.
I bet you some of them did, but
Like if the slave
Yeah.
wasn't Negrito, would we feel better that he kept it because it wasn't?
Ooh, you nailed
Was
it though. This like colorism. It's
yeah.
true. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is saying
Mm-hmm.
that for forever. It's not just white people, y'all. It's we gotta look at ourselves. Like even you and I, like,
Mm-hmm.
do we look at darker skin as less than? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's rude. Like just because what she was strange and so removed from
Mm-hmm.
home, like
Mm-hmm.
send her back. What? Because her skin was she could have been the most beautiful, like whatever. But
But the fact that she was even there as a slave for
no, you can't.
tribute.
I know. Did they? I wonder if there's maybe they sent a man one time. Are these emperors always straight? Like, let's ask that. Like, do they prefer men or women?
Let's ask that. Yeah. That is a
Maybe
question.
that's why he just sent her
Oh,
back because he's like, I don't want
I
vagina.
like
I want...
men. Yeah. Oh man. So anyway, that was my quote. I don't mean to end on a weird note. I feel like we've always ended like kind of like hopeful and uplifting, but this one like rocks my world a little bit too because maybe I did romanticize a little bit our pre-colonial ways where I'm like, oh, we were egalitarian and Duha and but then
Yeah,
maybe it's both and people were also
assholes. Yeah,
yeah, because people are
dehumanized each
people.
other. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. There's always gonna be like a hierarchy of mentality in a village. I think there's always
Yeah,
gonna be. You gotta have your protagonists, antagonists.
yeah.
Um,
So that was interesting to me, and so there we go.
there you
That is
go.
that. That is that. So
Whew. Coon Moon Slave. And
yeah,
there's a romance story out there, you said.
yeah. Written by someone in the Tang Dynasty. Written by someone Chinese. It was called, but it's a romance.
Well, I should make this a movie.
It's a romance though. So like somebody
Mhm.
fell in love with the slave, the Negrito slave.
Oh, we
Oh,
got our own Pocahontas then, y'all.
I guess. I don't know. It's crazy. So and that's just how history is sometimes. You don't really know the context of it. You just have the bare facts. And this, you know what this makes me want to do though, sis? This makes me want to write shit down more. Like I think I
Me
said this
too.
last time. Yeah, but I want to like almost like bring context. Like cuz I just write shit in my journal. My my descendants are going to look at this and be like, "What the fuck?" Like, "What the fuck?" But if like I brought context to like what was happening. But that's a lot of work as well. So, I don't know. Anyway, y'all are just going to have to do what we're doing. Is to be on your own, okay, descendants? You'll be fine.
And by then there'll probably be a billion different versions of information out there. So
That's true. That's true. So
anyway,
anyway, that was my quote. And I am complete.
thank you, sis. So, as we end our conversation and close out this container with gratitude, once again, we recognize and honor all the ancestors and the ancestors of the lands we occupy. We also recognize and honor you, dear Kapwatid, for your joining our conversation today. And as always, I leave you with the blessing. On your journey towards remembrance, may you find your true voice and true song. When you find yourself overwhelmed in the sea of modern times, may you tune into your inner navigation system and find there the kalayaan, freedom, and peace that your intuition brings. May the remembrance of Kapwa grow in your heart. And until we meet again, may you know that all is well and will be well. And no matter what happens, you are loved.